down. And we are live. Oh my goodness. And we are live. Hi, Alex.
Hello. I'm
Can you
putting
hear
my
me?
headliner in here. There we go.
Okay, good. Very good. Okay. So we are going to start and then maybe Kim will join us. It might just be a tech issue because I spoke to her a minute ago, so I know she was here. But we're going to get started. The show is called Moms for Trans Kids. Finally, I get to get Alex to myself. I know the last time we spoke was on LinkedIn Live, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
Thank you for doing that. Yes, that was during the Transgender Awareness Week last November.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. So how have you been since then?
Really, really well. Lots has happened. Yeah. We
Lots
could
of
go any direction with that one.
Yeah, yeah. I try to find something good. I just try to find something
Mhm.
something good because it's just if you don't even work hard, you find all the negative things. So I just try to find as much positive things as I can and just keep my face to the sun so I don't see the shadows because it's crazy. But Kim is back, so we're going to start. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Moms for Trans Kids podcast. My name is Dr. Lulu. And yes, tech happens. When I was an actively practicing pediatrician, one of the best bibs that I saw was get used to it, spit happens. So yes, tech happens, and that's it. So we are here anyways, regardless. Kimmy, do you want to come up a little bit? Or maybe you're thinking yes. Okay, so we wanted to talk about all things non-binary, and I think it just worked out, Alex, that you happen to be the person on this week because non-binary has been in the news for obvious reasons, and I love the title of your podcast. Is it your podcast that says "I swear I'm real"? Oh no, Alex! Oh no! Today, today,
StreamYard is having issues. I
yes.
I I have verified that.
Well, at least Alex is frozen in a smile. I don't know
I
what's
know they're
happening.
cute, like, right?
I know.
But,
So, but
like,
Alex has a podcast on LinkedIn that's called "I Swear I Am Real," and that is so, I guess, for lack of a better word, poignant for what we're talking about because these are people that people want to erase. I think they make fun of the transgender people already as it is, and then they don't even just believe that non-binary folks even exist. I mean, it's like people are having to say, I am here, like I have a beating heart. I'm human, which is just
that's
unfortunate.
ridiculous.
So if you've never met us before, we are the Mama Bears and we are the Mama Beasts and we truly don't give a fuck. Our show is called Moms for Trans Kids podcast and we come every Sunday to we're joined by a guest. Kim, I'm going to give you the reins just so I could check on Alex and see how they're doing. But yeah, so normally we have a guest, and today our guest is frozen. We don't know what's happening. So let me do them a favor and remove them so that maybe they can come back. All right. So we have one person watching. Hello, please let us know who you are. My name is Dr. Lulu. I'm a mom of a transgender child, and I'm a lot of other things. Like my trans kid, she's a lot of other things. And today I'm joined by Kim. Kim, you want to tell us how you're doing, Mamacita?
I'm doing good. It was a beautiful day in Michigan today. We hit 70, which, I know that's not a big deal for you, but for us here in Michigan, it means fireworks next door, apparently. Somebody's setting off fireworks. So,
Already?
yeah, so why not?
Oh my God.
So,
So what are,
yeah.
so what are they going to do in July if they have fireworks in
Oh,
March?
it's crazy here in July. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, they like their fireworks around here. But yeah, today's my baby's birthday, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, happy birthday to them. Oh my goodness. Y'all, if you
Yes.
don't know, if you can't see me, if you can't see my hands, I'm trying to get my guest on today and we've been joined by Melissa. Hi Melissa.
Hi,
Melissa
Melissa.
said they were going to be here and they are here. and my guest is trying to come on, and tech is just not teching. So we'll give them a few more minutes, and we may have to reschedule because I really wanted to have a conversation with a non-binary person. And we did find one Black non-binary person, but says they can see and hear us, but I can't see them. Can you see if you maybe have your camera turned off or for some reason, Alex? Thank goodness I have a tech guy who's going to delete all of this stuff, because Alex said they can hear us and they can see us and that their camera is on. Okay, I see something. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately it's not. And if I try to take them out again, StreamYard is asking me to ban them. So that means if I take them out, then they may never be able to come back. But I will tell you, I will share something about being non-binary that I know. My child was the first non-binary person that I ever met. And one of the things that happened was she started by saying she was non-binary. Was it 2.5, 3 years ago now? And that was my introduction into the phrase non-binary. I was like, what is that? What does that mean? I have no idea. Never heard that before in my life. I had heard androgynous, because as a physician, there's some words that we hear. So I've heard the word androgynous, but I never heard non-binary. And so I was struggling with just understanding what that meant. And then within months, she now said, well, actually, she's transgender. So I didn't last very long in my own mom of a non-binary child phase. So if those of you that are watching us, please let us know who you are and where you're joining us from. Alex is back. This is good. Hey, Alex.
Hello. You can see me now.
Yes, we can see you now.
Oh, goody. Okay, I've just got them on my phone then. So.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. Because I know you also have to leave early. When it rains, it storms. But you and I were just kind of just doing a little, small talk, waiting for you to come back, because I wanted people in the wake of next Benedict's accidental death, because I want to believe in my heart that nobody was planning for anybody to die that day. I have to believe it. But that has shone light on the phrase non-binary, and now it's a trending word or phrase. So we are being joined by Melissa Harris and my co-mama beast, which is Kim, and we have our guests. Alex is here, and Alex is going to try to help us understand. I've never in my life as a podcast host written down questions before, but today I decided I was going to just write questions down to help people that may be struggling with that phrase. And before you got back on, I was talking about how my child first identified as non-binary and then transgender. And I don't know, Kim, did any of your children do the one identity first and then the other kind of thing before we get on to Alex?
Yeah. So my oldest came to me and said, he is a transgender male. And that's how it stayed all through his journey. And he's 22 now. So, and then my youngest wasn't quite sure. And then it just felt right to say, I'm a trans man. I'm not like my brother, very insistent that they're not the same. It's not the same journey. But, right now there's quite a bit of fluidity to, his gender. And so he's considering, he's he, they pronouns. So he's a transgender male, non-binary.
I love that. I love that. So hopefully Alex can help us just make a little bit of sense. And before we lost you the first time, I was talking about how you have a podcast called I Swear I'm Real.
Yeah. I was in the middle of
it.
Yeah. I was reading The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest, I think her name is. And it was like a lightning bolt kind of, one of those rare moments where you're like, oh, Eureka, but having the idea, because we have the podcast How to Be Queer that I do with my wife, where we have our kitchen table conversations about queerness in a heteronormative world. And so this was kind of like like a nuanced specialty off of our other queer podcasts, but because really it speaks to my entire life of having to, in different ways, constantly say to people, I swear I'm real. I'm a real person.
Mm-hmm.
I knew once I saw that, I was like, this is why they do this. This is exactly why I knew. I mean, it needs no explanation.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like the first podcast is more generalized, and then the second one is more focused, which is so good for you. Melissa, I see what you wrote. I'm going to ask you if you could edit. Could you edit to pronouns to they, them? But I'm just going to post that anyway. Melissa says I need to listen to their podcast, always looking for new podcasts, especially around LGBT issues. So Melissa, I know you can't see it because we're having issues. I don't know what's going on with what's it called today. Usually we can see our pronouns and everybody can see their pronouns. But Melissa, thank you so much. That's a great point, because there's no better place to learn something than from the source. So yes, if we have someone non-binary, which is why I'm so happy that it just coincidentally worked out that you were today's guest, because this is the time to burst all of the non-binary myths, because there are too many, and misconceptions and disinformation just out there. My first question for you is, honestly, this is going to sound silly, but I'm just going to come out and ask you, what does it mean when you say you're non-binary? Because I really think it's important that people understand that being non-binary for Alex may also, I don't know, does it mean something different for the next person? So Alex, take the floor. Thank you so much for coming to help us today.
Well, I think being non-binary means you're really asking about all the nuances of gender. I can give you the definition, which is like, you're outside the binary, you're not binary kind of thing. And I'm really careful to make sure to always say, like, every non-binary person experiences themselves differently, of course. So I'm only going to speak for myself, but I kind of view it like, so if gender, there's this spectrum of gender, which we're all taught to choose a gender, and actually even, our gender is assigned to us at birth kind of thing. But being non-binary is a very, I think, spiritual place to live. And really that I believe that everyone should experience their gender in a spiritual kind of way as well. But we're just taught to look at it in a binary way, which is male or man or woman. And that's also not to exclude people who are that. So yeah, it's obviously we could talk about what non-binary means and how it feels. It's really, it's a feeling. It's a sense of self. Like I just know myself. I just like, well, I'm not a man and I'm not a woman. I have these body parts and I feel this way and I present this way, and I get I'm either people are really like I can almost become like a mirror to people's insecurities. But
that is so powerful. The textbook definition definitely is a deep, internal, personal sense of self. That is the definition in the textbook. So you're very right. It's a feeling. I think that's the most poetic way to put it. So I'm going to steal that, Alex. It's a feeling. And this is the thing about feelings. Kimmy, you cannot tell me that I don't feel a certain way. Kim, I cannot tell you that you don't feel it. So it's just a feeling. Especially, I don't know how to say to someone, I feel like them, because I'm not them. So thank you for saying that it's a feeling. I'm going to write that down and put it in quotes. It definitely is a feeling. And that's why no one else can take that from you. And no one else can tell you that you don't feel the way you feel, because you feel it. There's nothing they can do about it. So thank you so much for putting it that way. It's a feeling. I think that's the first time I've heard someone actually say that being non-binary is a feeling. But okay, so while, I want people to see how it's not so easy to explain. And Alex, for all intents and purposes, you're an adult. But see how not easy it is to explain being non-binary as an adult. And that's why I tell parents, It's not okay for you to base all your support and affirmation on, I need to understand it first.
Yeah.
Because sometimes your children don't understand it. They just don't, What more adults? You know what I mean? Adults don't always understand it. What more children understanding it? So yes, thank you so much. So we're going to start from that. And Kim, do you have any questions as we go along?
Yes, I have a lot of questions.
Kim, your volume is really loud, Kimmy. I'm not
Is
sure
it?
why.
Okay, let me.
Yes, it's kind of
Sorry.
that's okay. But go ahead.
All right. Well, so hopefully this is a little bit better.
Yeah, this is better. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So so my kiddo, and again, he plays around with all kinds of different looks as far as appearance and things like that. For you being non-binary, I mean, sometimes I think I've heard him refer to himself as non-binary, but yet he presents just whichever way, sometimes it really leans towards very feminine side, and then sometimes it's very masculine, and sometimes it's just in the middle, just every day, kind of thing. But do you play around with, how you present, or are you just kind of like, this is who I am, and I'm a t-shirt and jeans kind of person,
I think, yes, I do play around, but at the same time, I'm really consistent in my day-to-day life of how I present. But I'll play around when I'm in drag or performing, because I'll play with makeup and all sorts of different things. But
that's what he does too.
Yeah. And drag really saved my life, because when I started that, in 1998, it saved my life because it allowed me to explore. It was literally a stage where I knew that no one could touch me. No one could tell me how to look or move or what to say or what, I got to finally had control of myself. And then once I harnessed that, I'm like, I can do whatever I want on this, 10 by 12 stage, and no one's going to hurt me. And then it took 20 years to really kind of through more and more experience and growth, to be like, okay, I'm going to take this off the stage and now onto the stage of my life.
I love Kimmy's question, and I like the way you responded. But even before we go any further, I wanted to mention that one of the questions that Kim, one of the ways I think to kind of just let people understand, because I really, at this point, we're all in education, is what Kim said is her child sometimes more feminine, sometimes more masculine. I want people to understand that is gender expression. I think it's important that we nail that's an expression of their gender, which is, if you don't want to use the word expression, use manifestation. That is how they show their gender. I still want to hone in on the fact that the way they feel about their gender is inside, because I don't want parents, obviously this is just me thinking out loud, say, well, how come Kim's child does this and that. That's an expression.
No.
That's more art, and that is beautiful, because that's the way they see themselves in their life every single day. But I don't want any parent stressing on their child that, well, because I've had one parent in the group say the child says that they're female, but they still act like me. That's just
act, the word act.
Yes, it's too much stress on your child. The way your child acts and manifests is the way they want to that day, depending on maybe the weather or however they are feeling. But I don't want parents to ever think that the person's gender identity is invalidated because they're not acting the way you want them to act. But Kimmy, go ahead. I know you were going to say something. I'm sorry. And Melissa, I'm sorry, Kim. Let me just read Melissa's notes. I'm sorry. Melissa says, I know my teen. Oh, Melissa, did you mean to say can't explain it? They just know it? Maybe that's what Melissa means. Okay, but go ahead, Kimmy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I think that it was just important to talk about, appearance and presentation And sometimes, like, he's transgender and, feels very masculine all the time. But there's play with drag makeup and likes to even go out sometimes like that. And that's fine. It's just, you never know what you're going to see coming out of his bedroom, after he's been in there for a while. So it's a ride, as a parent, but I want people to know that it's not it can be fluid. Gender is fluid. I mean, I am gender fluid too. I do a lot of things that are traditionally like a masculine thing to do, and some feminine things, and sometimes nothing. I'm just here, and I think that why do we have to check a box? This whole check, how I feel about boxes.
I think it's important to say that, to remind, because it's a practice, and no one can see gender. You can't see gender. That's what it comes down to. You see presentation, you see expression, you see movement, you see everything on the outside, and it takes a really self-aware, emotionally intelligent person to be able to see through all that. And I know as a trans parent to a trans child, she really challenged my level of healing. Like I had to go into my core of like, what kind of parent do you really want to be? Who do you really want to be? And what do you need to do to be able to show up for her? And we like, this is like when we talk about healing, like the really deep nervous system, deep internal work of like, oh my gosh, I want to show up in my life and I want to show up in her life, but I don't know how to do it. And then of course people being like the double whammy. I think on a personal note, it was like the double whammy of dealing with, no one's going to believe you that you're a trans parent to a trans child. They're going to be like, that doesn't happen. I'm like, but it does.
It happened to me. And that's why your podcast is so beautiful. I swear I'm real. I was enamored by that. I was like, wow, this is a declaration. It's a cry for help. It's a cry for notice me. It's a cry. It's a fight. It's your whole life. It's fighting. And I want to even go into that a little bit more. I never ever, one of my top 5 whatever things when I did my little 1632 things, I forget, whatever, Gallup somebody. One of my top 5 ones is an includer. And some of the things I do sometimes, I say sometimes, I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm not supposed to say this, but I will say it. Just like I said, I'm so happy that it's like, for instance, I think the Human Rights Campaign, maybe they're suing the school board or something now in Oklahoma or something. Like, things are happening. And I'm saying that because at least we heard about Next. It would have just been hidden under the cover, and we'll never have heard about it if it was a Black child. In the same vein, a lot of times we're talking about transgender. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they're also the non-binary people. So if the trans people are not visible, are not seen, the non-binary people are not even, I don't know, y'all are even like not existent. And so thank you for being a face for non-binary people, being a voice for non-binary people. And I could just tell you, just from talking to you and listening to you multiple times, because I first met on TikTok, and just how much passion you have when you're just, how do I explain myself? Like, I'm a woman, like, that's who I am. And then somebody's like, no, you're not. That I can only imagine how hard that must be for you on a daily basis.
I think one of the things that I have been thinking about recently is the collective gaslighting, that the mass gaslighting that has been happening for a long time on trans and non-binary people. Like, you're not really who you say you are. And we're like, no, really. And then you just have to, but at the same time, I say that with no judgment, because I get how the human brain just in and of itself, like how many times we have to hear something before we're like, okay, Okay,
Mhm.
okay, I'll accept it finally. And I think we're just on this edge of this collective. There's an upheaval, just like you're saying. At least we're talking about it.
Yes.
Which before it was like, no, you know, just continuing to. So.
Oh my God. I don't
So I
even
do
like.
a lot of breath work and meditation and exercise.
I was just going to say that because it's so triggering and so traumatic and so traumatizing in all the levels. I was saying before you came back that my elders started by saying they were non-binary, and then not very long after that they said they were transgender. And I want to hold space for parents who might have that kind of situation going on in your house, while I hold space for you because it is in evolution. I love that Alex said gender is not visible. Like, I've never thought about it that way. You can't truly see somebody's gender unless they're expressing it. But if they tell you that this is how I feel, I need you to please believe them, believe them that day, and just be done with it.
Yeah.
Just be done with it. Because it's so hard to put in words.
I think it can go into how deeply someone trusts themselves. You know, if you can't hear somebody else in their truth, how deeply do you really trust yourself?
Oh, wow. That's a word. That's a word.
Alex has done some work.
Yeah. Alex, you've been teaching about this for a while. So I want to ask the next question because I posted something about it on social media and everybody went crazy when I said you can be non-binary. Actually, I said you can be transgender and heterosexual. I think that's what I wrote. I didn't say non-binary, but I said transgender and heterosexual because I wanted people to just, obviously, one is gender and one is sexuality. But people came at me in my DM. Oh my God, what do you mean? I was like, wait, calm down.
Yeah.
And finally on Sunday, one of my friends who's a physician, she said, she actually called me on Sunday, a week and a half after I wrote that post. She said, so, about that transgender, and tell me about it. So what did you really mean? What did you really mean by you can be transgender and you can be heterosexual? I was like, wow, finally. Hi, Melissa, the other Melissa. So, Alex, you're the person of the hour. Tell us, how can someone be transgender, which is the bigger umbrella under which non-binary is, and be heterosexual? Obviously, I know that already, but sometimes it's not like Dr. Lulu is just saying it.
Oh, this is really a great question, really nuanced. So I think, we say trans women are women and trans men are men. And so the sacredness for a trans person, a binary trans person, let's just say, to be able to say, I'm a man, because historically we've only saved that for cisgender people. So then it's like, yes, because it's, sexuality informs or rubs up against gender. So that's why we had that. It's independent, but it's kind of like intertwined as well.
Yes.
And so because trans men are men and trans women are women, if you are attracted to the opposite sex, you're straight. Like, it's just that's it. That's it. That's all it is.
That's all there is to it. Let me tell you, I can't tell you how many parents have told me, well, so and so says that they're transgender, but why are they still coming home with whatever the opposite gender? And I'm like, oh my God. But at least we're having conversations. So welcome to the conversation, Melissa. Welcome, Liz. If you all have any questions, please ask us. If you have any concerns, we have a non-binary guest today. It's the bottom of the hour, so we're going to pay our bills. I'll come back. Melissa says that was a perfect explanation. So, Alex, if you could say it again, I'll write it down and put it in quotes. But in the meantime, I want to take a moment and acknowledge our friends at Apollo Wellness in the northwestern side of San Antonio, Texas. They are our friends. We had Jake come from there a couple of weeks ago to tell us a little bit more about what they do. They are a gender affirming, sexuality affirming primary care clinic that also focuses on HIV and HIV patients. And because sadly, one of the faster demographic of people who are getting HIV infection and not getting treated are people who are LGBT plus, so they take care of you. So if you live in the San Antonio, Texas area and you just have no doctor or you haven't found a good doctor and you're queer, go by to the people in on the northwest side. They're called Apollo Wellness. And just tell them Dr. Lulu sent you, and you may even find an affirming space. One of the things that we talk about is health inequities is just all abound for the LGBT people. So when we find one person who is affirming, we're going to shout their names from the rooftop. And that's what we're doing with the folks at Apollo Wellness. So welcome back to Moms for Trans Kids. My name is Dr. Lulu. I'm joined by my co-mama beast, Kimmy. And we have a star of the stage today, Alex. Alex is non-binary, has a podcast called I Swear I'm Real. Y'all go follow it. And Alex, what's the other podcast you have? What's the name of the other podcast?
How to Be Queer.
How to Be Queer. So y'all also, Alex has a pretty big following on TikTok, which is where we first met. But just find them. Alex, are you Alex Vaughn everywhere, or what are you?
Yeah, CoachAlexVaughn.com, Coach Alex Vaughn on TikTok and Instagram.
Yes. So welcome, Liz. Liz says, I've missed a lot. Well, Liz, the show does start at the top of the hour. So if you come at the bottom of the hour, you have missed that much stuff. But so today we're talking about all the things intertwined with that phrase non-binary. So if you can hear us and you have any questions, please ask them. Alex will do their very best to respond as much as they can. Alex's pronouns are they, them, and theirs. So when you're writing, just if you want to refer to them in the third person, please use those pronouns. And I know what Nisi Nash said. Last but not least, I want to thank myself. Was it Snoop Dogg? I actually love the fact that for me, it's becoming easier to use they, them pronouns. I was like most parents who are like, well, but how do I say they and how do I say them? And 2 days ago, I was with this lady whose niece is a trans woman, and I could see her brain. I could just see her brain. Every time she wanted to say something, she would stop and then say it. I said, just tell your brain you got this. Yeah. And then it's like a big load. And then she just started saying her for the rest of the conversation. So, Alex, please tell us a little bit more about being non-binary. My question is, when it comes to transitioning for the non-binary people, what is that like? Because that's another thing that people are stuck on once they hear transitioning, they hear hormones, they hear surgery. Can you tell us a little bit more about, not necessarily yours, but you can use your own experience if you like. Yeah. But what is it like when it comes to transitioning and non-binary people? I think I know the answer to this question, but okay.
Well, I was going to say, practice makes progress, right? But transitioning, we obviously hear a lot about transitioning in the binary sense of male to female or female to male. And in the non-binary sense, this is probably actually a question I get a lot on TikTok. When did you start transitioning? How long will you be transitioning? My answer is
none of your business.
Well, it's changed over time because every time I am asked it, the truth deepens. And so it's like, well, right now I'm in a space which is I'm transitioning for the rest of my life because I was not myself for the first 40 years of my life, realizing. And then the grief that came out of that, of feeling like I lost time. I lost like the sadness and the grief and really the anger. But all of that led me back to self-love. So then it's like, oh, well, none of it was lost. It happened exactly as it should. But on a physical and I take testosterone I am actually looking at getting top surgery. And so there's like, and of course, someone's surgeries don't define their transness or their non-binariness. But so I think everyone is, we think of transitioning as just for trans people, but everyone's transitioning all the time. And I really kind of encourage people. I want people to know that even if you're cisgender, you're still transitioning, and you should be. You should be deepening your connection to yourself
Yeah.
Just evolve.
Yeah. So all of us are doing it. You know, I'm not any different. I just know myself as non-binary, and but the transition part, the evolution part, like you're saying, is all. That's we're all doing that, or hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah, exactly.
But not everyone is able to. They're not there yet. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I like that. Kim, did you have anything to say? Because I wanted to write that quote down before I forget.
You know, you said something earlier, which it really just made my heart just swell. But you said something about, you know, you're taking your life from off of the main stage when you were doing drag to now, like, to the next stage of your life. And it's just the stage reference. And I thought that was pretty beautiful. You know, do you feel that your journey ever ends in transitioning, or you just continue to transition and you don't ever feel done transitioning, I guess?
Yeah.
Like, does it feel like something that you have to, I guess, check off that you did, you know, or does it feel like it's okay? I'm okay with this being forever.
I think there's certain things that I still want to do, like I was saying, like top surgery, but it never ends. You do one thing, you think you conquer one thing, and then there's something else. And so I just know that drag was a catalyst for me to at least get to the part where I could even say I'm trans and non-binary, because what it was, I was walking around for decades with this like weight on my heart, and it's like I kept looking down, and I'm like, I can't see what it is. Like, what is this? I don't get it. And then having a queer therapist say to me, well, it was like a tray of tools. Like, here's all these words. What fits you? And I saw non-binary, and I'm like, that's the closest thing that I have right now to how I feel. And every day I'm reflecting. I'll ask myself kind of every day, like, are you still non-binary? Or are you more of a trans dude? Like, it's really like I'm constantly, it flows for sure.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. Like, as somebody that likes to just check off things that I did, you know, and if I'm transitioning, okay, did I do that? Check. You know, is it a feeling of incompleteness, or is it a feeling of I'm free to continue to evolve? And I want parents to understand that, you know, just because your child has come to you and said that they're either non-binary or transgender, it may be a journey that's, you know, like Alex, that is just a constant journey and evolution. But then there's some people that do, you know, say, like, I'm done doing what I'm going to do. I'm just going to live my life now as a male or a female, you know. And I just want parents to understand that there's a lot of different ways this can play out, you know.
Yeah,
that's what Alex was saying, that it's a constant transition. And Alex, I know I'm looking at my time, and for the moms who have joined us, if y'all have any questions, because Alex has to go pick up their child in the next 5 minutes, so y'all please.
I got a few more minutes.
Okay, just type your questions now so that we can, and of course, if you think of a question after the fact, we'll always get them to Alex, but just FYI. So 2 things that I wanna highlight here. The first one is when you have someone in your family or in your life who uses new pronouns, aka neo pronouns, Neo, or new pronouns, New. Two things you can do are you can use the pronouns, but if you forget or if you're still learning, you can just use their name. I want you to notice how it's okay to just say Alex. I mean, like literally, you can just keep saying Alex indefinitely. Or if Alex is not there, you can also still say Alex, or you can say they, them as you learn. Just remember what I always say on my show. I always say if you found this mouse lying on the ground, you will say somebody lost their mouse. So you've been saying someone and there this whole time. So just remember that. And then Alex, I did have one question for you. My last question I wrote down was, what does it mean to be transgender and non-binary? I know you've said it, but I want people to understand that you can also identify as trans non-binary, right?
Yeah.
Yes, because so parents don't say, well, is it trans or is it not? Which is it? Sometimes you can be both. So Alex, what does it mean to be both?
So not all non-binary people are trans, not all trans people are binary. So I came out, I'll start here real quick. So I came out non-binary first, and that was such euphoria, and that was like the first door into all of the joy. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. And it was kind of a return to my childhood of I get to play with who I really am. And then a few months later, but I really wasn't, I was just starting to reconnect with myself, and the big like kind of slam back into my body was when my trans identity kind of like came. That's the best way to describe it. Kind of went back into my body, and something left me when that came in, and I feel trans. I know that I trans because I'm so far away. I've transitioned so far away from the gender that I was assigned at birth that I know I'm not even anywhere close to that. It just, but I don't reject that part of me of where I've been, but my sense of self is like, oh, no, you're light years down the line from who you were told you were.
I love it. I love that quote. Not all trans people are non-binary, not all non-binary. Thank you for explaining. And I think let me use my cisgenderness to explain that to people who are having a hard time understanding. Just imagine you being a teenager and then being a young adult and then being a more mature adult. You have gone very far away from the teenager you used to be. It doesn't mean that the teenager is still in there. Part of that teenager is there, but you've gone very far away. You can't become that teenager again. And I also want to explain something when it comes to transitioning, because I know people want to just die for this word transitioning. Majority of people who transition, more than 99% of them do not regret it. I bring that up because I want to ask Alex one last question before you go. You said you may even consider top surgery. I know that's a personal question, but I want you to almost tell the people, how long has it taken for you to finally decide, and what are the things that have come into play for you to decide? Was it maybe money? Was it time? What was it that made you get to this point now to say, okay, I'm even considering surgery?
Yeah, I think looking back at something I know I've always wanted to do, and money was one thing, but then also it's almost like when you tell people who you are, you tell them that you're trans, you're non-binary, and you just try to get them to, you're afraid that you'll be rejected. And so once it's almost like you pass that hump, you're like, okay. And then it can feel like you're being selfish or greedy for, well, now I want to change my body. And will you accept? And so that's like, again, back to that inner work that I try to do of like, okay, whatever I do to my body, I'm allowed to do it. So I'm like, it's this constant reassurance of the trust of myself, that the people that love me really are going to let me just come through. But I pushed it aside. Yeah, I pushed it aside because I was like, well, I don't want to go through that. And then it was like, then the feeling I was having was you have to, because you keep like binding and all the things that's actually quite of a barrier,
A
literally.
burden, actually. Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, it would feel so much better just to wear a shirt and not have to worry about binding.
Oh my
Then it
God.
surpassed. The benefits outweighed the risks.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And of course there's money involved. Of course, hello, it's expensive. But I want people to hear Alex's heart. The fact that everything you're thinking, Alex is thinking it 200 times more than you are. You know, are people going to reject me? Am I even going to reject me? This is funny because my ex-wife had to have a mammopexy or whatever reduction, breast reduction done.
Mhm.
And before she had her reduction done, she was a 38J. Now she's a 5'10", beautiful woman, but she was really in pain. And still, it took her to be 40. I think she was almost 50. And then she started regretting. She said, oh my God, people are going to judge me that my breasts are smaller. I was like, but wait, your pain is gone. Like your back pain is gone. You don't have to find only one bra that's made of metal to wear. You know, I had to keep reminding her of all the reasons why it took her that long to do it and why she was actually happier doing it. Like Melissa just says, it's liberating. Melissa, thank you for that. It's liberating to be all of you. And what Alex is saying is that at every step of your child's journey, they are wondering, are you going to accept all of them? I love that. Whether it's the haircut today or the nose piercing tomorrow, or the earrings the next day, or the binding the next day, or the voice change, are you going to keep on accepting all of them? Alex, you have been amazing. I have to let you go because I gave you my word. Y'all, oh my God. Alex,
We got to do this again. This was wonderful. Thank you so much
I can't, I'm so like,
So good. And I love your TikToks. I was kind of stalking you a little bit on TikTok and joined your live, which I enjoyed thoroughly. Your kiddo is adorable, man, sassy, spunky, everything I love. So
Yeah,
you're doing a good job there.
thank you so much.
So, Alex, how can the people find you and follow you? Kim already kind of gave us a little bit of that. I'm no longer on TikTok, so I don't see you anymore, but I'm fine. But I'm sure people are on TikTok and they want to come follow you and learn more. And thank you so much for being a teacher, for putting yourself out there, and just thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I know I'm kind of condensing my stuff, but Coach Alex Vaughn, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and follow the podcast. I swear I'm real.
Yes. And maybe before you leave, I want you to tell these people one reason why you celebrate your queer joy. Because another thing I don't want people to think, they'll just look at me and say, oh, your child is trans. Oh, no. I'm actually like experiencing joy all day. So yes. So Alex, can you tell the people one or two things why you celebrate or how you celebrate your queer joy? And I think, Kimmy, I think we're going to start asking this question every day before we leave. Because I don't want people to think that we're sad and unhappy. No, not me. But Alex, so tell us one or two things how you celebrate your queer joy or why you harness your queer joy or whatever.
Yeah, I think oh gosh, hold on, I'll get there. The joy is in being trans because it's ultimate. It's conscious freedom. It's an opening of our consciousness, and when it's a feeling. It's like there's nothing better than being like, this is who I am. And on days where I feel like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like and I ask like, what is it that's this? And it's, it allows me to come back to, but you have yourself, and that's just joy.
Yes. On that note, on that note, we're gonna say goodbye to our fabulous guest today. Alex, you have been beyond amazing. I love you. You know that. I appreciate you so much. We're going to meet in person soon because I'm supposed to be coming out to LA. Are you in LA?
Colorado.
Oh, Colorado. Never mind.
Yeah.
Where that came from. But thank you so much, y'all. Go find Alex, follow their podcast, listen to their podcast, ask them questions, invite them on your show if you have a show. And Alex has been very nice to have you on the show. We're going to stay around and just kind of wind down a little bit if people have questions. But Alex, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Coach Alex on TikTok and IG. Y'all go find them, follow them, and peace, love, and soul to you, Alex. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
So wow, that was a bit intense. That was a bit intense. I'm trying to. I'm looking at.
I still have more questions. I'm gonna follow up because I think he's.
If you were on their live today, then you have a lot of access to them. So you just ask your question.
Yeah. No, I joined their live yesterday for just a little bit while I had was sitting around, and it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
Very really educational. Very spiritual too. You can tell he's really, or they have really done that internal work to get to where they are today.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about the people that they would touch. I haven't been on TikTok in a while, but whenever we were there, we used to go live twice. We went live more than twice together, and it was just fun to just talk about a different way. Like I'm on the mom, and then I'm on the mom side, and then this is someone who's not on the mom side talking. So Liz has a question. Thank you, Liz. Liz has a question. So Liz says, "Can I ask what is a cis woman?" Kimmy, do you want to answer that, or do you want me to answer that?
Go for it.
Go for it.
That's a good question.
Yeah?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Are you talking to somebody?
No, I was trying to see what they were. So I thought somebody sent me a DM because sometimes they send questions by DM. So I saw a DM, but it's not that. But yeah, absolutely. So I'm a cisgendered woman, and a cisgender woman, for all intents and purposes, is someone whose gender identity is in alignment, is the word that I use, or in congruence, which is the word that the medical textbook uses. So alignment is the word that I use. Congruence is the word that the medical textbook uses. So the textbook describes transgender person as someone whose gender identity is not congruent or is incongruent, as one word, with the one that they were assigned at birth. I think what we need to focus on here is the fact that we as parents are the ones that assign genders at birth. I mean, the day that hit me, that was the day I discovered God, because that is the day I knew fully well that we are raising our children based on how we assign them until they tell us who they are. Then we switch. So I was assigned a girl at birth or a female at birth, and my gender identity is in alignment with that, is congruent with that, or is in congruence with that. Whereas someone who's the opposite of that, if you want to use that word, the opposite of that would be transgender, or someone who's not cisgender. Let's put it that way. The opposite of cisgender is not transgender. The opposite of cisgender is someone who's not cisgender. I think, oh, that's a beautiful quote. I'm gonna quote that because it's not necessarily transgender. It could be non-binary. It could be agender. It could be bi-gender. Since I've been doing this work, I found out that there's so many other kinds of genders out there. The more common one is transgender, but there are many, many more, like non-binary. There's agender. There's bi-gender. There's demi boys and demi girls, and there's two spirits. So there are all kinds of other genders out there. Wow, I've done some work on this. Okay. All right. The knowledge is coming out. But yeah, Liz, that's a beautiful question. We love questions on this show. So thank y'all so much for joining us today. I didn't want to go too much further since Alex is not here. But if y'all have any questions for us, please send us an email to moms4, the number 4, transkids@gmail.com. That is our joint inbox. The show is called Moms for Trans Kids. Beginning, I think next week, Vicky's going to be back, according to her. So we'll look forward to that.
Okay, all right.
And we still have Foster, who at this time is not.
Correct.
So Liz says, so I was born woman, identify as a woman. Is that cisgender woman? For all intents and purposes, yes. I don't know what is being born as a woman. I think I'll have a caveat with that. Because yeah, you know what I mean? Like we're not born women. Yes, we're not born women.
Yeah.
We're born with body parts that are female and male, and then we're assigned the gender at birth, which is girls. But I hear what Liz is saying, and I think I know what you're saying. So for all intents and purposes, the answer is yes. But yeah, so this is kind of what we do on this show. We try to answer. Melissa, thank you so much. Melissa said that they're sorry they're late. Oh, thank you for joining us. I mean, however much you joined, thank you so much. All right. So on that note, we are going to go on and Kim, this is interesting. I'll show it to you when we get done. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna post it. But if anybody has any questions about their child's gender, if their child is non-binary, please find Alex and ask Alex the questions. Kim and I will help you as much as we can, but as you see, we are just mama bears, and we just kind of are like we have the platform, and then the people come and they share who they are with us, and that's it. So, Kim, did you have any going away words for us?
Not much. I hope everybody has a good week, and I think we learned a lot today, and Alex was a great guest, and I see the comment you mentioned, and I'm not even.
I'm going to ban them. Actually, I can ban them, so I'm going to ban them.
Yeah. So sometimes you just find people that if it's not your thing, don't tune in. I mean,
that's it. But you know what? Guess what we didn't do?
If it's not your thing, stop watching and leave us alone.
Yes. Scroll on.
That's it.
Guess what we didn't do? We didn't call their name. We didn't post it. We didn't give them any extra minutes of our time. Because we truly don't give a fuck, and that's it. That's all. That's all we know. So. But yeah, so join us next. But you know what we're doing though? We're doing something right.
That's right. When the haters come out,
we're doing something right. I've been waiting for this because finally that means that the show is getting. Because I know they said YouTube, when you go live at the same time multiple times, the YouTube will start like kind of showing your.
Yeah, they start stalking you. Yeah.
So I'm happy. And Melissa says they agree. Yeah, when people we must be doing something right, because if you're coming and saying hateful words, first of all, I'm not going to acknowledge you. And second of all, I'm going to ban you. And then third of all, I must be doing something right because you're.
And you know what else I'm not going to do is attack anybody. I'm not here to attack anybody. I'm not attacking you. Why are you attacking me?
I know, right?
What is the point?
But guess what? But guess what we will do though? We will defend ourselves. So you're not going to come and attack me on my own show, and then I think I'm just going to roll over and play there, but we don't do that on this show.
No, we don't.
But yeah, so but yeah, I'm happy to come here every Sunday as long as we have a guest. And sometimes when we don't have a guest, we still come on because we just maybe something has happened and we want to talk about it.
We just have to keep talking. We just have to keep talking. We have to keep talking.
They want us to be silent, and we're not going to be silent. Not when they're so loud. They are so loud.
Look, if I can't be quiet about it in my house, I mean, because it's real. I mean, we're talking about real things. It affects real families with real people who have real feelings, and just as some of these bullies out there, they have feelings too. And a lot of them have hurt feelings, which turns them into a bully. So can we just all calm down?
All right, everyone. So it's the top of the hour. The show is called Moms, the number 4 trans kids. If anything we said today touched you or touched your heart, please give us a follow and share the show. So 2 things. Give us a follow and share the show. Tell someone about it. You never know who that person is and who might gain from just watching the show. We have been getting a lot of mad love from people. So
I
exciting.
know.
So exciting, so exciting. And if you are a parent and you would like to talk to me about your journey affirming your child or accepting yourself, because that's what I figured out that was working with that was going on with me, please send me a DM on Facebook at Mama Trishan, on Instagram at Dr. Lulu Talk Radio, or just send us an email at momsfortranskids@gmail.com. Until next Sunday, peace, love, and so bye. Oh, I
Bye.
forgot to say thank you, Liz. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Melissa. We had two Melissas for the price of one. Yes. All right. Bye, y'all.